those who practice first class devotional service under the shelter of Krishna, they can know this. They can know this divine knowledge. Avidya Timira. Avidya is like a darkness. When the darkness of avidya goes away, then the real knowledge comes. You may ask then, why only those who take shelter of Krishna, they are in knowledge, why not others? Because the symptom of the avidya, what is the symptom of avidya? When we do the root cause analysis, what is the symptom of avidya? Without knowing the origin, we will not understand that. What is the origin of avidya? Why avidya? The two things that we need pleasure, we need eternal pleasure is common for everyone. But the source is different. When we choose anything other than Krishna for this pleasure as source, that is called avidya. Anadi avidya. This avidya is developed in us since a long, long time. Anadi avidya. Avidya, that's why I consider as a timira. So that's why we always pray, Lord, that free us from this avidya. Sarira avidya jal jadendriya tahe kal jiva fele vishay sagare. Because of we accepted this body. Why we accepted this body? Which is avidya jal, is a net of avidya. And jiva fele vishay sagare. The reason is that we have fall into the trap of enjoying Visaya. Visaya vasana nale morachitta sada jale rabitapta marubhumi sama. Visaya vasana nale. What is Visaya vasana nale? Vasana is the impressions. The impressions of sense enjoyment is so strong in living entity is that he is always struggled to get some sense of enjoyment. Is hankering after sense enjoyment. Why is hankering for sense enjoyment? Is pure soul. Because pure soul should hanker for sense enjoyment. Is not looking to be befitting to its character, to its characteristics. Pure soul or the divine soul, when it is fragmented and separated, pure divine soul is the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, has this tendency to fall in trap of enjoyment. Either it seek the enjoyment from Supreme Personality of Godhead, or it has to look it from some other source. Unfortunate are those, though their number is one fourth, three-fourth are wise people who have chosen Krishna to be the source of pleasure, and these unfortunate one-fourth souls have not chosen Krishna as the source of pleasure. That is their misfortune. They want to get the happiness from the shadow of Krishna. Misfortune of these people is that they have not chosen Krishna as the source of pleasure, but shadow of Krishna as the source of pleasure. Why these people have chosen shadow of Krishna as the source of pleasure? Why not Krishna? How can these people become so full? There is a point here that some people are interested to enjoy how Lord is enjoying. Krishna dasya bhuli mayare majilu. When we forget our original constitutional position as a servant of Krishna, Krishna dasya, we want to forget that. Mayare majinu want to become Lord over something. Like Krishna is the Lord over Prakriti. Which Prakriti? Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. Spiritual energy as well as material energy. Krishna is Lord of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Matah sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajanti mam buddhaha bhava samannitaha. They are the real intelligent persons. They are in Vidya. And they develops the specific feelings, bhava, which can be dasya, sakshya, vatshalya, madhurya, santa, any such bhava that develops. Those who knows that. The others who want to imitate God. This tendency is there. You can see in this living entity at this material world. If he sees his neighbor is having something better, he want to go above or like him. We have this quality to imitate others. So we want to imitate Krishna, how he is Lord over everything and enjoying. Similarly, I will Lord over something and enjoy. So he cannot Lord over the spiritual energies. Now there is no choice that you can go and lord over spiritual world. Spiritual world, you have to become sub-servant of Krishna. There is no second choice. But you can become parents of Krishna. You can become wife of Krishna. You can become beloved of Krishna. You can become friends of Krishna. That are possible. But you cannot become master of Krishna. Even though they are master of Krishna, but in devotion. The devotees, Krishna sometimes give more priority to the desires of the devotees. Not sometimes, all the times. Because the perfected living entities, the devotees, have no separate desire. They have the only desire to please Krishna. If they desire something at all, they only desire how they can greatly please Krishna. Suppose they want to do a very grand festival for Krishna, or a very grand conference to spread Krishna consciousness of Krishna. All that is for the pleasure of the Krishna. That is the pure devotee's path. But others who are not following the path of Vidya, due to the influence of Avidya, they choose a wrong path. And what is that path? Imitating Krishna. Not following Krishna, not following the word of Krishna, but imitate how Krishna is enjoying, the same way I will enjoy. That is the defect. That is a trap of Maya Sakti, which is like shadow of Krishna. So this is the trap. Even in Brahma Jyoti, a soul get the transcendental pleasure of Brahmananda. Yet Brahmananda is incomparable to the ocean of pleasure that a devotee derives or Krishna derives through the loving exchanges of devotion with devotees. It's just like the comparison of the ocean and a small hoof print of the hoof print or cow print leg. So that small place, cup like place, how much water can be there? That is the difference. কৃষ্ণ প্রেমে আছে যে আনন্দ সিন্ধু তারও আগে ব্রহ্মানন্দ খাটো দাকাশন চেতন চরিতামৃত কৃষ্ণ প্রেমে আছে যে আনন্দ সিন্ধু, the pleasure of Krishna consciousness is like the great ocean. In front of that, Brahmananda is very meager, like a cup of water or glass of water. What to speak of this material happiness? In Brahmananda, at least happiness is present. In Avidya Sukha, there is no happiness, it is a cheating. It appears to be happiness, but in turn, it is not happiness. It's a temporary feeling of happiness as long as ego is satisfied. Ego will be satisfied with avidya for a short duration. It cannot sustain in that. Because of its nature, because it is false. False cannot sustain a long time. So that's why any such happiness we try to derive in this material world are very temporary and very meager. If the situation of Brahmananda in front of Krishna, prema is so less, what to speak of this Jadananda? Here is the problem. That this problem is if possible for a person who is at the place of Brahma Jyoti, why this problem will not be there in common ordinary living entities? Think about this. This problem can even attack a person who is in Brahma Jyoti. Then why not it will happen to this people in this ordinary world who is already in trap of avidya? Not being in the trap of avidya, if a person in Brahma Jyoti can think of this avidya sukha, then why a person within this avidya will not think about this? Now you think, what is the critical positions of us? We are trapped in darkness. That's why we don't have any hope. Any hope, no hope. We always tortured by this avidya and no hope to go above it. And what we hope? We hope again repeatedly a remedial pleasure, which is again that same avidya sukha. But full fool are we that we never think that all such pleasure are binding in nature. It's like it will cycle more. The more you want to increase the happiness of avidya, is in reality more you will suffer the vidya, because avidya in reality is suffering. It's not enjoyable. We assume it is enjoyable, so we accumulate more and more. When you accumulate more and more avidya, means you are accumulating more and more suffering in reality. That is maya, that is illusion. Krishna naam dhare kato bal, বিষয় বাসনা নালে মোর চিত্ত সদা জ্বলে রবি তপ্ত মরুভূমি সম কর্ণরন্ধ্র পথ দিয়া হৃদি মাঝে প্রবেশিয়া বরিশয় সুধা অনুপম হৃদয় হইতে বলে জিহার অগ্রেতে চলে শব্দ রূপে নাচে অনুক্ষণ কণ্ঠ মোর ভাঙ্গে স্বর অঙ্গ কাঁপে থর থর কণ্ঠে মোর ভাঙ্গে স্বর অঙ্গ কাঁপে থর থর স্থির হইতে না পারে চরণ চক্ষে ধারা দেহে গ্রাম পুলকিত সব চর্ম বিবর্ণ হইল কলেবর মূর্ছিত হইল মন প্রলয়ের আগমন ভবে সর্বদেহ জর জর ভাবে সর্বদেহ জর জর. This is the state of a devotee. We are in the darkness, we cannot realize this happiness of Krishna consciousness. The devotee who have exclusively taken only the source of pleasure as Krishna, who is fully convinced they are anything other than Krishna is the source of suffering. So he cannot leave the holy name for a single moment. Why he should leave the Krishna name? After knowing that Krishna name is the only test in this material world, in the spiritual world too, but in this material world, the only hope to get everlasting happiness is to be always with Krishna name in the tongue. The moment a devotee is away from Krishna's name, he is unhappy. He cannot enjoy. That's why he always keep the holy name. Because he know this material world is Rabi Tapta Marubhumi Sama. So torturing. It's like the oven of heat. Like if you go to the Thar desert of Rajasthan, how much heat will be there? It's very discomfort, right? And at that moment, any amount of water or anything which make you chilled, like in air conditioned car in Marubhumi, the moment you come out of the air conditioned car to the Thar desert, how will you feel? You cannot stay out. Again you have to go inside the car as soon as possible. Similarly, a great devotee knows that Krishna consciousness is that air conditioned car that can save from the Rabi Tapta Marubhumi Sama, and no other way. No other way. So, just like in the heart of the summer, you don't want to go out of the air conditioned car, similarly, a great devotee never think to go out of Krishna consciousness or leave the holy name of Krishna from his tongue. With that, intensity, he is always chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hridaya hoite bole, not just for the sake of duty, not just for the sake of showing that I am a great devotee, because I am chanting, not to show other, because that is the most dangerous and most attractive feature in this age of Kali, that laya sadhu besa ane upadasi, ye boda mayara ranga. Taking another form of maya is that take the dress of the devotee, give instructions to all other ane upadasi, but for himself, for nothing. I will enjoy all the comfort possible. All the devotees should come and give me something, then I will enjoy. This kind of mentality develop. That pleasure mentality, pleasure from avidya, labha, puja, pratishtha, that will not. Hridaya hoite bole, that will not generate Krishna consciousness, happiness. That will not dissipate the ignorance which is covering us. Hridaya hoite bole, from the heart, with a deep cry. Just like once we come out of this air conditioned car, there is a torture. So we must realize the torture of this material world. So with a deep cry for Krishna, Hridaya hoita bole, Jivaro agrete chale, never give up the taste of holy name. Just like you will never give up the thought of the most delicious food that you like. Whenever that name of that delicious food or the thought of that delicious food comes, you get happiness. It's not that. Similarly, when you really enjoy the most delicious Krishna Nam, it will never give off the tongue. The tongue will be desiring to place Krishna. Hridaya hoite bole, Sabda Rupe Nache Anukshan. And this holy name dance in the tongue of such devotee. Kanthe mora bhangeswara, anga kampe thara thara, stira hoite na pare charan. Kantha more bhangeswara. With this, in his throat, he is melodiously enjoys the transcendental singing of holy name. Anga kampe thara thara, the body shivers with these pleasures of Krishna. Nam, sthira hoite na pare charan, and these legs will not stop and start dancing with the ecstasies, feelings of Krishna consciousness. Chakshidhara, there is continuous tear in the eyes. Deha gharma means the sweating. Pulakita savacharma. All these armpits are ecstasiously, transcendently happy. Stira hoite na pare charana. Vivarna hailo kalevara. Murchita hailo mana. At this state, mind is completely giving up the influence of avidya. Pralaya has come for the mind. Mind has completely sheltered to the deepest pleasure that is released from the holy name. Bhabe sarva deha chara chara. The intense love for Krishna is completely covered up the body. Just like 100 plus fever in the body, takes away all these comforts of the body. Only the jara or the heat of the fever remains. Similarly, the heat of bhava remains, and all other sense enjoyment goes away. That is the state of a devotee. When we see such devotee, if we are fortunate, we realize that devotee. If we realize that devotee, we follow that devotee. So we get this vision. And Jaha Krishna taha nahi Mayar adhikar. When Krishna comes, then there is no chance of Maya to give you further darkness. Because if sun is present, there cannot be darkness. Krishna Surya Sama. Maya hai andhakar. Jaha Krishna taha nahi Mayar adhikar. Where is Krishna, there is no chance of Maya to cover you. But there is a problem. At the moment you give Krishna, Maya will capture you. Because Maya is already surrounding to you. If you don't want to take the Krishna Nama Surya, then there will be darkness. You have to take the Krishna Nama Surya always, every moment. Just like if the iron is put inside the fire, then the iron will become like fire. So whatever, like a devotee, as long as he is in the feeling of Krishna consciousness, whatever he speaks is the word of Krishna. Because he is in fire. Just like iron in fire waves like fire, when we are in the fire of devotion, we are speaking for Krishna, we are hearing for Krishna, then Krishna only remains. But the moment you take out the iron from the fire for some time, then it again goes back to the state of iron. So it is essential that our 24-hour remain engaged in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we will be again fall into the trap of avidya. And that is the suffering. Do you want suffering or you want pleasure? This can never happen unless we directly interact, see, and influenced by such pure devotee, just like Vidura explains here. वैष्णव देहते थाके श्री कृष्णेर शक्ति से शक्ति बड़े है अन्य कृष्ण भक्ति. A devotee has the strength of Krishna, strength of the bhakti of Krishna, and it has a tendency that it can jump from the heart of the devotee to the follower who has Shraddha, who has faith for that devotee. But the transmission between the two person, one is a devotee and another person is subservient of devotee, need a conductor, and that conductor is Shraddha. If you have no Shraddha, if you have aparadha, you will not get. For aparadha, you will again punished. So this is the way to get. Gangara parasa haile pasate pavana darsane pavitra karo ei tomar guna. Sometimes devotees desire to go Ganges, take a holy dip and get cleansed of the sinful reactions. But they don't know. The sadhus are Ganga within them. Not even required to dip, just by seeing with faith. Darshane pavitra kara. is cleansed from this heart. All you can experience that when you are in association of devotees. Your heart is purified from these impurities. Once you go out of the classes, you again go back to the enjoy of avidyas. You can feel that these impurities are in action. But when you are in classes or you are in service under the guidance of a great devotee, you can very well feel that these avidyas are not in action, but vidyas are actions. That is the property of vidya. When vidya in its ability, in its strength, when you are doing with heart, হৃদয় হইতে বলো, অবিদ্যা cannot overpower you. But if you are imitating, then you are imitating only avidya is at the role, avidya is at action. You decide whether you want to make avidya at actions and imitate to be a devotee or to be a true devotee. Vidya will be at actions. That is most important. Krishna consciousness is for serious devotees, and Maya has many paths to forget that devotee. Initially, he may get this promise or enthused to become devotee of Krishna and exclusively give up everything which is avidya and take anything that is the pleasure of Krishna called vidya. But due course of time, Maya very well make him forget of everything. At the time of initiation, you might be very attracted, but later on, Maya very easily take now the mood. Where he has kept you lost, you forgot that. दीक्षा काले शिष्य करे आत्मनिवेदन सेई काले कृष्ण तारे करे आत्मसम. Krishna make you as good as him when at the time of initiation you surrender to the pure devotee. That time. But if you go away of Krishna consciousness, what a bad fortune to us that we have to suffer these consequences. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments?